Hi everybody, let's talk about heavy metal. Now, I kind of like it, but in all honesty, I think it was 1997 when Metallica released Load. I could be wrong, I think it was around that year. That was the last time I think I heard a heavy metal record, a new heavy metal record that I liked. Anything else I heard that I liked came from before then. I really haven't taken much to modern heavy metal. I mean, my favourite heavy metal band of all time would be The Almighty. They were, late 80s, early 90s kind of band. Heavy metal, but with a dash of other things like punk, indie, alternative music in there as well. And they were kind of the forerunners to bands like Therapy or The Wild Hearts or Three Colours Red, bands like that, which are very much my kind of music. But I just really can't get excited by modern heavy metal. You know, I'm very much old school. I like Iron Maiden, I like Black Sabbath, and I like Metallica, with the exception of Saint Anger, obviously. But I can't get into a lot of new metal, be it new metal or just new metal, largely because the aim of modern metal bands, it seems to be to just do two things: to be louder and lower. So they want to like turn the volume up more, which is kind of counterproductive, because you can always turn the volume up of a record if it's too quiet, or turn it down if it's too loud. And just lower, they just want to tune the bottom two strings of the guitar down as low as they can to get the ultimate sludge effect, so someone can bark incoherently over the top of it. And to me, that whole barking kind of vocal, it seems to be a rip-off of hardcore to me. It seems to have much more to do with hardcore, except it's not shouty, and it's not the righteous kind of anger you get with hardcore. It's more just kind of pantomime barking and growling. I just can't get into that at all. The other thing with this like sludgy kind of sound, it's so relentless. I kind of don't like it for the same reasons I don't like dance music, because that has that like kind of beat going on that's just relentless. And a lot of modern metal has the same thing, except it's more, it just has that going on, and I just can't, for the same reasons, I can't really get excited by it, because the people who want to dance to it just want to be able to sort of nod their heads to it like that or whatever. It just doesn't seem to engage me or excite me. There's no like decent riffs or solos or anything like that. And the ones that do, I've heard these bands like Trivium, and what's the old Dragon Force, they just sound like real pastiches of old metal. They sound like almost like someone taking the piss out of old school metal by just throwing these crazy solos in there. They don't really sound like the real deal to me, unfortunately. But I mean, there are maybe some exceptions. I mean, I quite like what I've heard of Black Star Riders, which is the new Thin Lizzy. But I mean, that's partly because their singer is Ricky Warwick, who was also the singer of the band I mentioned before, The Almighty, who are my favourite heavy metal band. So it's got like the singer of my favourite heavy metal band in. But then these guys are all old school. This is an old school bunch of guys getting together and showing everyone how it's done, really, aren't they? So I don't know if that even counts, but I have to be honest, I mean, with maybe the odd occasional exception, not since Load in 1997, which was, wasn't really a thrash metal album by any degree. It was a standard heavy metal album, but still a good one. I think it's an underrated Metallica album. But not since then can I really think of anything that's really excited me that's come out since then. I can think of heavy metal I've heard since then that's excited me, but it's come from before then. But other than that, I just cannot get into this modern ultra drop tuned, ultra barking, and don't even get me started on heavy metal that has rap in it. No, I just can't get into it at all, and it's not for want of trying. I've listened to, people keep constantly trying to force me to listen to this stuff on or sending me links to stuff on the understanding that I'm suddenly going to like this whole genre based on some link they've sent me, but with maybe the odd exception, I just really can't get into modern metal at all. I just find it just seems to lack all the qualities I look for in music, and has a lot of the qualities I don't like present in music. So, I don't know. So, this is probably the most controversial video I've made since the one I made about the Terminator movies, but yeah, feel free to argue with me as vigorously as you like in the comments about this. If you're feeling lucky, you could even recommend some metal to me. I wouldn't advise it personally, okay, but you can try. Yeah. The other thing I was going to say here as well, before I finish, my old band, I remember we were playing a gig once, and some guys came to it because they picked up one of our flyers, and my old band was not a metal band, I should stress this, and I should at least appreciate these were the only people I think who ever paid attention to any of the flyers I've ever put out in my life, so I do appreciate for that. But as I'm there doing my kind of thing on guitar, the guy, honest to God, comes up to me after the show and suggests to me, have you ever thought about just drop tuning the two strings on the guitar and twatting about on them? It's much easier. And you think, when you've put all this effort in to actually learn to play guitar properly, you've put the effort in to learn to actually play chords and do inversions and construct riffs and create melodies and understand how to actually make music which is distinctive to listen to, and someone just suggests you make it as boring and as bland and as talentless as possible. This really sums up why I don't like modern metal. I think if one moment could sum up why I just don't click with people who, I might get on with them for other reasons, but I don't see eye to eye with them musically. I think it could be that moment that really summed it up. So yeah, let me know what you think. Goodbye.